and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today we're so excited to be introducing our brand new simple stripes dies, and we have them in 3 styles. We have portrait, landscape, and diagonal. These dies are so much fun for creating cool backgrounds, so let's go ahead and check them out. First up, we have the portrait die, and as you can see, it cuts 7 stripes with a stitch detail all of the way around. You can do really cool and fun patterns with these, and we're going to be showing you a bunch of ideas in these videos. Now, the reason that we created these dies is because it's actually kind of hard to cut evenly spaced stripes. So for example, if on some of these it would have been like 0.85 of an inch, and that's really difficult for me to cut. So I thought how great to have it perfectly cut with a die. It has the beautiful stitch detail, the nice beautiful edges, and I just love these so much, and honestly I've been using them more than I ever even thought I would. Now here you can see we've got some contrasting patterns, and we're just moving some pieces in and out so you can see how you can build up different patterns depending on what colors you use. You can use colored cardstock, pattern paper, you could do cool inking with them. There are so many fun things to do. Now here we did the portrait and the landscape, and now we have the diagonal. This one's really great too because diagonals are also really hard to cut evenly spaced throughout the card. So I just love looking at these, and they're really fun to create rainbow patterns with, which Shari is going to show us at the end of the video some really cool ways to do that. Now here is the look at the 3 different dies. We have the portrait, the landscape, and the diagonal, so you can see them all together. And one of the things I love about these is they actually really work in the other way too. So we're going to take the portrait one, turn it into a landscape, and it gives you a totally different style of stripes with the vertical stripes. Same here with that landscape to a portrait, and then diagonal works great both portrait and landscape. So I love mixing and matching these, and we're going to be showing you different ways to do that in the video too. And I just love these dies so much, and I hope that you guys do. So let's go ahead and create some cards with them. For our first card, we're going to be doing a nice contrasting pattern. So we're going to die cut this backdrop from some mermaid cardstock, and we're going to end up with all of these fun pieces. And then we're going to go ahead and die cut it from some white cardstock, and we're going to be making a landscape card, and we're using the landscape simple stripes die right now. So there you can see now we have all of our white pieces. I have a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of these stripes, and I'm going to start layering them. And I always like starting from the top and working my way down, and I'm going to alternate my pieces. So it's going to be the mermaid cardstock, then the white, the mermaid, then the white. And I just love this look of alternating patterns. Black and white looks amazing this way too. Now you're going to notice that we have a lot of pieces left over. That's because we die cut 2 full cards, right? So that means we can make 2 full patterns. So with the extra pieces that I have, I'm going to make the other pattern. So now we're going to have the white piece at the top and the mermaid ones in between. And so this is really great because when you die cut these pieces, you're going to be able to make multiple cards. And I love doing this because it gets me to make more than one card at once, which is really good for having a nice card stash. So in this case, I'm just going to repeat my idea here and kind of have 2 different patterns going at once here. Now with the white on the top and the mermaid on the top. Now here I'm going to be using the brand new giant birthday messages, and I love this stamp set because it's so nice and easy to use. The die set comes with this awesome oval, so we went ahead and die cut that with the oval and just added a little bit of marker on there in some turquoise color to match that mermaid cardstock. I added some foam squares to the back, and we're just going to layer that right on the card. And honestly, you could even stop right there. It looks so great. But I'm going to take out one of my favorite stamp sets of all time, and that's Our Friendship Grows. And that's because sunflowers are my absolute favorite. They're just the happiest flower. I love them so much. So right now I am recreating a card by Audrey. So thank you so much, Audrey, for making such a beautiful card. So I went ahead and added some tape runner to the back of the sunflower. I layered my leaves on there and then added some foam tape so that it would be at the same height as that sentiment. And we're going to kind of frame the sentiment with the flowers. So you'll see I added some tape runner to the back, and now I can kind of look around and see where those leaves are going to look. And I like to just stick the leaf to the back and then add some foam squares. And we'll do that with our last sunflower. So we're just going to layer that on there. And I just love the look of the yellow with the mermaid and the white. I think it's such a pretty color combination. For some sparkle, we're going to add some sequins to this card. And I have a little bag here of different size clear sequins. I'm going to add some glue to the back with the glue tube because that's going to dry nice and clear. And I'm going to layer the sequins onto the card. I really like layering some of them kind of behind the sentiment a little bit. It makes it look like the sequins are almost coming out from behind, and I just think it's a fun look. So we're going to layer some of them kind of tucked behind, and the rest are going to go out into the open spaces of the card. Add a couple of more sequins there for some sparkle, and then our card is all done. I love how quick and easy this card was to make because of that beautiful giant message there and those cute little flowers, and I just love it. Now, I've got my other card base and I thought, what should I do with this? And at first I thought, oh, I'm just going to kind of repeat the same design. And that looks actually very, very cute. But then I thought, that kind of reminded me of that kind of surfboard look. And I thought, what if I took this and I made it a portrait card and did some vertical stripes? And then I layered the happy birthday on there. So once again, I'm not coming up with brand new ideas. I'm just changing it just a little bit. On the vertical stripes version, I felt like the white oval was getting a little bit lost in the white stripes. So to make it a little more bold, we're going to take mermaid ink that's going to match our cardstock and just lightly ink the edges. You could also take a marker and just kind of go around the oval with that marker, and it's going to help it stand out. So once again, here's a look at what a landscape version would look like, and now our portrait version. Now I wanted to take the same idea of the flowers but do something a little bit different. I'm going to take out the brand new Tropical Leaves die set, and I die cut some leaves out of both Cilantro and Noble Fir cardstocks just for something a little bit different, but to have the same look of our flowers going to each edge of the oval. So in this case we're going to add leaves instead of flowers, and I put some tape runner on the back of the oval, and I'm just sticking these leaves to that tape runner. It's kind of helping me hold them in place and mess around with them and see what kind of look that I want. And these die cut leaves are looking so cool and kind of going along with that surfboard feel I feel like those vertical stripes kind of have. Next, we added some foam squares to the back, and those foam squares are helping secure and hold those leaves in place and give us some nice dimension. And then, because we did it on the other card, I had my sequins and my glue out already, we're going to do the same idea with some sequins that are going to fill in those open gaps in those corners there. And I think it just adds that little extra sparkle and makes it really special. And that's something I love about these stripes dies. Not only does it make it super easy to do stripes, it gives you that cool stitch detail, but it also gets me making more than one card at once. So I've got this awesome happy birthday version with the sunflowers, and then one with the tropical leaves. Totally same idea, super quick card making session, and I had so much fun creating these cards. Now that we've created some fun contrasting patterns with these dies, we're going to work on creating a scene with these dies, which is so fun. So we're going to take the Portrait Simple Stripes die cut some white cardstock, then we're going to cut varying shades of blue. I wanted to show you that you don't always have to cut a full 5.5 by 4.25 piece. You can also just lay strips of cardstock scraps you may have across the die and just cut a few stripes. So if you just wanted a couple stripes, that's a great way to do it. So I went ahead and cut a bunch of shades of blue. So I have some Blue Jay cardstock, Moonstone, Rainforest, Peacock, and Mermaid. And we're going to be creating ocean stripes with this. And this is another card by Audrey. My goodness, her cards with this die are absolutely incredible. And I thought this idea was so much fun. So here I have a card base made out of Blue Jay cardstock, and we're going to start layering our pieces on there. So we're going to start with our lightest color, which is the white, and then move our way down. So the Moonstone, then the Mermaid, and then we'll keep going down, creating this really cool pattern. And what this is going to give us is like the depths of the ocean. So that's the idea behind this card is now with the stripes, we've created an ocean background, but in a really cool graphic way. You could do this with ocean. You could do a couple greens and then a bunch of blues to create a really cool grass and sky theme. There's so many fun things that you can do with these. Now you'll notice I have a lot of extra pieces, and the cool thing is you can just go ahead and line them up any which way to create cool patterns. So here I was just kind of playing around with different looks and different fun things that I can make with these. And so from these die cuts, I'm going to be able to create a ton of cards. And even if they don't have the same exact idea of our ocean scene that we're going to create here, those are really pretty patterns that you could put a big sentiment on. Maybe one of those die cut giant happy birthday dies would look beautiful on these. So you can have a lot of fun with your extra pieces. Now for this ocean scene, of course, we need to take out the Duh-Nuh stamp set and the flip-flop, which is brand new, and also our Mermaid for You stamp set and the flip-flop for that, which is also brand new. And I love these flip-flops because they give you characters moving in opposite directions, which really help create really cool scenes. So we have fish from the Mermaid and the rock and the seaweed from the Mermaid set, and then of course our awesome sharks from Duh-Nuh and those fish from those Duh-Nuh flip-flop and the original stamp set. So they're really fun to play with. We layered some seaweed seaweed behind the rock, and then we're going to add some foam squares to everything and just start layering them on the scene. So you can see how fun and easy this is to create and just how cool it looks. Oh, I love it so much. So I'm going to layer on my sharks first, and then we're going to start layering on our other characters. So we're going to add our little fish and kind of fill in these scenes with our different pieces. And having those nice bold oranges and yellows, I think looks really, really nice against these blue stripes in the background. For our sentiment, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to combine sentiments from the two Duh-Nuh stamp sets, so the original Duh-Nuh and the flip-flop. And the reason we can do that is when we design these sentiments, we make sure to have the bases of the stamps the exact same size so that you can mix and match any of the phrases. So we're going to take the "you are" from one and the "fantastic" from another, and you'll see they're going to line up next to each other, almost like a little puzzle. You'll just butt them up against each other. Then you can pick them up with your block and be ready to stamp your sentiment. So I'm going to stamp this out in some black licorice ink, and then we're going to go ahead and die cut that with a sentiment banner. Once my sentiment's all cut, what I'm going to do is just trim off one of those flagged ends with my scissors, because I'm going to have it nice and flat against the edge of the card. And then we'll add some foam squares to the back of this as well and pop that up. You could also stamp your sentiment directly onto the card, onto that white piece. I think that would look really nice too, but I thought everything popped up also. Just that tone-on-tone white looked amazing. Now for a little extra detail, I'm doing something I haven't taken out in a long time, and that is my glossy accents. This has been in my drawer, the same glossy accents bottle, for I don't know, 15 years. It's still working. I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bunch of little bubbles with this glossy accents. It's going to create bubbles and also give the card a little extra shine and just kind of fill in the pattern. I think I'm going to be using glossy accents on more and more cards now. It's been a long time, and I really do love that stuff. And then here the card is all done. It's so much fun to create scenes and backgrounds with these. And you can see the contrast to the other card we created where we created more of a pattern instead of creating a scene background. And I can't wait to see what other fun and cool scene backgrounds we're going to be able to create with these dies. Next up, Shari's going to be using the diagonal die to create some really cool rainbow cards. So take it away, Shari.
So I'm going to be making a card using the new Simple Stripes diagonal, and I've cut a piece of white cardstock just with that same stitch rectangle that is the same size. This is an A2 size, so 4¼ by 5½, but you can also just cut it with your paper trimmer. This die has 9 diagonal stripes, so I have gone through my paper and pulled out 9 different colors. Ballet Slippers, Guava, Fake Tan, Sunflower, Cilantro, Mermaid, Peacock, Blue Jay, and Sugar Plum. So I'm going to be cutting this from each of those colors. You can see I've already cut them. I've laid them out on my desk so they stay in some order. And I'm just going to cover this whole rectangle, this white rectangle, with adhesive. Now you can do this with liquid adhesive or the tape runner like I'm doing here. I did it both ways to figure out what I liked best. And then I'm just going to start in that top corner and work my way down through my colors of my stripes. So I'm starting with my stripes from that pink working left to right across my desk, and I'm just snugging each one right up against itself, and I'm trying to keep them in some order on my desk as I pull these stripes out, because I'm going to use all these pieces and create some more backgrounds. So if you cut these from 9 different colors like I did here, you can make 9 different backgrounds, and that is exactly what you see me doing here. I tried a rectangle with liquid adhesive. I think I kind of liked the liquid better, although it's a little bit messy if you get it on your fingers. You just have to be careful. And I'm just going through and I'm starting with the next color for my top corner and then working my way across my colors on my desk again. So I've switched back up to the dry adhesive, and you can see on this one I didn't get it quite on that white paper, but I'm just taking my craft knife and a straight edge, and you can trim that right off because these are not on card bases yet. They're just on white pieces of cardstock. This is super speed, but this really didn't take me very long at all. And then I had 9 rainbow stripe card bases that I could make 9 different cards with, which is exactly what I did. So I'm getting down to the last one here. And you'll see once I get all this trimmed out that I have 9 card fronts that I can make 9 different cards from. So I'm just going to show you a couple of them. You can make some really simple cards using these card fronts because they're already very bright and colorful as they are, and then you can just keep the sentiment nice and simple. So I'm going to start with the first one I made. For the sentiment, I'm just taking the new giant happy birthday die. I've cut that from some black glitter cardstock, and I've also cut it from some white cardstock so that I can layer these two die cuts together and you get that little shadow to give that sentiment a little bit of definition off the background. I'm just using my glue tube to add some dots of glue to the back of that black glittered piece, and then I can layer it on top of my white piece, making sure I offset it slightly so you get that shadow. And then I can just add some liquid glue to the back of this piece and glue it directly onto my striped piece. So this centered up, I just think this is so striking with that rainbow background and then that black glitter sentiment. I added a few sequins just for a little bit of embellishment, even though I think it looks super fun just as it is without that. And now I'm just adding some adhesive to a white cardstock card base, and I can add this panel to the front of my card, and then this card is all finished and complete. So now let's look at those other backgrounds I created. You can turn these landscape orientation. This uses the new giant birthday messages stamp set and the coordinating dies. This card actually uses the other giant happy birthday die cut, and I cut this one from some white glitter cardstock, so this is really pretty as well. You can also use the sending big hugs, and that makes a really quick card as well. I've cut this just out of some black cardstock. I'm not even doing the shadow on this one, just gluing it directly to that colorful background. So let's take a look at all the cards I made using this one diagonal background die. Remember, I made 9 card bases. So I have that happy birthday big die cut. I've got one with the oval and the giant birthday messages stamp. There's that other happy birthday die cut. This one I used the confetti stencil to create some glittery confetti. I love this slimline border along the bottom of this one. I just think it's so striking. There's that sending big hugs. This one has that other giant birthday messages in a fun frame, and I white embossed it. I really love these splatters added to the background of this smile card. And then for my last one, I cut down the panel and used the starburst backdrop to create a fun texture and used that magic messages hello sunshine in the center.
I am so in love with these cards. They're so much fun, and I want to make a pile of rainbow cards like this, like right now. They're so adorable and so much fun, and I love how she was able to create such fun, dynamic, adorable cards so quickly with this awesome diagonal backdrop. So let's go ahead and check out some incredible cards by the design team. And first up is the card by Audrey that inspired me to make mine. I absolutely love how she added googly eyes to those sharks. And then here's the other card by Audrey that inspired me to make mine. She added some gold splatters to the background, and that's so pretty. I can't wait to try that. This card by Letitia is adorable. I love how she stamped the stars all around and she used the brand new giant birthday messages. It's so fun and so rainbowy. Audrey's contrasting black and white stripes are so stunning, and I love how she created this cute place for her flamingos to hide out in with the brand new Magic Iris Tropical Leaves add-on. Lynette's color palette is perfect for Father's Day, and I love how she took the portrait die and turned it landscape to have some vertical stripes. It's so fun, and I just love it. Elena created a cool sky for her Toucan Do It scene by alternating white and mermaid cardstock and then using the diagonal die in a landscape orientation. I love this card. It's so fun, and I think it's such a cool way to create a sky or maybe grass for your scene. Elise die cut her diagonal stripes with 3 different colors of cardstock, which meant she was able to create 3 different cards. They look so cool, and that giant happy birthday die looks amazing on them. Grace used her dies in a totally different way. She die cut some stripes, left one of them out, and then spaced them evenly throughout the card to have some holographic cardstock peeking out from behind, and I think this looks so cool. I love how Mindy used the outline of the Delightful Daisy die over top a really cool pattern with fun colors. It's a really great way to have an image on your background, but still let the background shine. Megan ink blended her middle panels and then grounded it with some gray on the top and the bottom, and I love this look. It's really fun to have those contrasting colors on the top and the bottom and then have that beautiful pink gradient in the middle. Audrey created another black and white stunner. I love this background, and the delightful daisy on top looks absolutely beautiful. It's just so fun. And then here I love how Audrey used the diagonal stripes, but she added a rectangle frame around it to give it a different look. And then this card by Kara is so much fun. She was inspired by the colors of a s'more to create the colors of her background. She then stamped a tone and tone pattern all over it, and I think that's such a fun and cool look and a great way to highlight a whole theme of a card. We cannot wait to see what amazing cards you guys create with these new simple stripes dies, so make sure to share with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!